Next, we have our consent calendar. All matters listed under the consent calendar are considered to be routine and can be enacted in one motion. There will be no separate discussion on these items prior to the time that council votes on the motion unless members of the city council, staff, or public request that any particular item be discussed or removed from the consent calendar for individual action.
I'd like to pull item number 10 for discussion.
Okay. Anything else? All right, so how about 9 with the exception of 10, 11 through 15? Do we have action on that?
I'll make a motion, to the mayor, I'll make a motion, consent calendar 9, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Okay. So we will talk about number 10. Purchase, purchase of this of 670 Brown Avenue for future widening of the Bridge Street.
And I don't think it's that the conversation necessarily has to go into the actual purchase of just this house, but the entire scope of the project and where we're at with it.
Okay. Well, the purchase of this home signifies the final purchase of privately owned property on the north side of Bridge Street. So this is pretty monumental in terms of the scope of the project. City Council authorized staff to award the design to MHM of Marysville, and the design is approximately 80% complete. We're also going through the CEQA analysis for the project. Right now we're doing tribal consultation to deal with the cultural resources element of the CEQA documentation, and we anticipate having the initial study mitigated neg deck completed within the next few months. Once that's completed, we would then be able to go out to bid for the project, provided that there's funding in place to actually fund the project. We've applied for several grants. We haven't been successful in receiving the grants, but we've also applied through this latest round to try to fund the shared path on the north side of the roadway. And so if the city does not receive any grants for the project, ultimately staff will be coming before council with options in terms of how to proceed with the project, with the ultimate goal of completing the construction at the same time as the construction is completed on the 5th Street Bridge.
So through the mayor. Through some phone calls, I'm just going to go through just a series of questions, and most of these phone calls came in today. Have any of the homes on the north side of Bridge Street between Gray Avenue and Cooper been subjected to the process of eminent domain?
No.
These are all willing sellers
Yes.
on each one of those. So that clears that up for a few members of the public. Second to that, there appears that there will be some surplus properties once the widening project is complete. What is the plan for those surplus properties?
There's a couple lots on Brown Avenue that would be remaining, that would be sufficient size for single-family dwellings. And then the large strip of land basically west of Clark Avenue on the north side, staff has discussed different options for that. That would be a great opportunity to perhaps redevelop to where you have, this is our development services director's idea, where you have a 2-story development with perhaps office or commercial on the first floor, and then you have like loft spaces on the second floor. Those are things that we'll have to analyze going into the future to look at different options. And then going east of Clark Avenue, that's not wide enough to support any type of traditional type project development, and so we'd have to look at, do we expand the park there at Cooper and Bridge Street, or create some type of linear park or landscaping? Or the other option would be for council to look to see if the adjacent property owners are interested in some of that excess property to expand their backyards.
And then Lloyd Park, which sits just right there, just to the east of Gray Avenue. How much cutback will be done on that park to allow for the right-of-way?
I don't have the exact number, just off the top of my head. I would say that you're probably in the range of around 30 feet or so. It's a pretty, if you look at the depth of a single family lot, so somewhere between, 40 to 50 feet in that range. And what that provides is you have that additional travel lane. For westbound direction, you would have a bike lane, curb and gutter, a small planter strip, and then the shared path would be located on the north side of Bridge Street.
And then separation between the public right-of-way and that would be held by private parties. What's the intention for type of construction, the separating wall?
So in the engineer's estimate, currently we have a block wall. And so as part of the CEQA analysis, we're doing a noise study to determine the height of what some type of barrier needs to be. CEQA doesn't necessarily dictate that it has to be a block wall, but over time a block wall provides, is more friendly when it comes to maintenance. If you were to install a wood fence, over time you have to replace the wood fence. The block wall, not only does it provides the adjacent property owners more of a sense of that it's actually attenuating the noise.
I think that's all I have for questions. That came from 5 separate phone calls from neighbors, all in that area. But they did want to commend the city for coming in and putting a rock compound down. It has mitigated some of the dust when the wind's been blowing. They do have some concern, and I'm trying to ease their mind that none of the pipes that are sticking out of the ground are active with gas or anything like that. So that's one of the things that's kind of coming to mind of some of the folks that are living right there. Is they were concerned about that. But other than that, I think the neighbors are all pleased and looking forward to a number of the changes. They do have concern over noise, but they know that is just something that will be coming with the progress, and that it will be mitigated the best it possibly can.
Correct.
So thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Diana. All right, so do we have action on this item?
I'd move to approve the item.
A second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Great, thank you.